So, yesterday was sort of one of the most enjoyable days of the week. Not that I don't enjoy every day, but yesterday is when we do our podcast. So I might as well speak about the reasons doing the podcast. Everyone thinks, oh, there's loads out there, everyone's doing it, but in fact, it's a very low percentage of the amount of people that do podcasts and be consistent. There's probably a lot out there, but not everyone is consistent with it. So again, this was part of the 3-year plan. I'm one of those, if I really believe in the idea, you just have to go for it. And it's always normally long-term thinking. So the podcast, the plan was to start in January, which it did. Again, didn't have a clue about podcasts, no equipment, didn't even have the staff. The guy that edits the podcast started in October, and by January we had the whole podcast plan, equipment, built the room. So yeah, the idea of the podcast is basically for marketing, brand awareness. So if you've got a company and you want another form of marketing for that, a podcast is definitely a good shout. Again, it's not a short-term benefit, depends how much time you put into it. It's more of a long-term thing. It takes a while to get traction and get people to listen to you. People that scroll on Instagram, it's hard to get people to actually listen to you for 40 minutes to an hour. So people will follow you on Instagram, like our following's going up with like 7k now, 1000k subs. We're getting good listens and downloads, but that's the hard part, because all this social media stuff, people are just scrollers, watch your 30-second video, your minute video and move on. To actually get people to watch you for an hour is not that easy. So yeah, the podcast is literally for marketing, and you can earn money from it. Sponsorship, so theoretically it can cost you nothing if you get sponsorship, so then you're marketing your company for free. But yeah, so that was part of the plan. I spoke to a guy that I knew not very well, but met him a few times, to ask him to host it with me. We have a good balance. So yeah, podcast is a good way of marketing, but you've got to be careful, because it can, I'm one of those all in or nothing. So we start with 2 shows a week. All the social media, you don't realise how much time it takes away, or it takes. So you've got to be careful that it don't take your time away from your main business, which earns you money. Because podcast is like a shiny new thing. People get excited about doing it, but it can take your time away from the actual company that's earning the money, so you need to have that balance. I mean, if you've got loads of money to pay to have a team on it full time, then yeah, and then you've still got another team on your actual company, then obviously that's even better. But if you're juggling both, you have to manage the time, otherwise you will lose on your actual business that's earning you money. So try not to get caught up with it and look at it just a side thing. It's basically like doing Instagram. You're doing another way of marketing, just more of a longer form and a long-term efforts, I suppose. So yeah, podcast is definitely the way forward, but it's not the most straightforward thing to start. Obviously you need the equipment, the time filming it, the time editing it, the time doing the posts. Like that first season, to be honest, it dragged, because it was like the anticipation of how it was going to go. But so we have a guest every week. We've probably done, this is the end of our 3rd, we've probably done around 50 shows. Hang on, let me work that out. No, 60. We've done like 60 shows now. We've gone so quick. I mean, the benefits are coming quicker than I thought. We've done like 2 live shows. Both people reached, one of them sort of, Pete was doing comedy there, but we've had a show reach out to us to do a live show at their plumbing exhibition, so it's our target audience for the app. we've had another company reach out to us to do a campaign, not fully confirmed yet, but we can see the benefits coming from it. So yeah, it's an exciting thing to do. You got to think outside. It's not thinking outside the box because people are doing it, but you've got to do these things to keep up and innovate. So podcast is a definite good way of marketing if you have the time and some money to invest, because obviously it takes a bit of investment. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing yesterday. We was planning for our exhibition that we've got next week in London. Done a couple of little videos. We done our overtime show, which is just me and Pete, and then we had a guest on. Then next week is our last guest show before the full season kicks off. So yeah, I'm very happy I've done the podcast. You just have to be careful with the time that you put into it, because you obviously want it to do well. So the more time you put in, the better it's going to be. But yeah, you've got to be careful. Yeah, 100%. But going again, everyone's saying, oh, everyone's doing a podcast and stuff like that. But people, they're popping up everywhere. But again, because it takes so much time and commitment, everyone's not consistent. They're not sort of promoting it well enough. And like I said, it's actually a very low percentage of people that actually doing podcasts consistently. So if you thought about it, you can do it, go for it. So yeah, that's one way for our future, is having this podcast to help promote the business. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. And if you haven't seen the other videos, I've got a tech community. The link is in the description below, so if you've got any questions, still drop them in the comments here. But over there I can go more in depth, and I'll be doing live Q&A, so check the link in the description, and yeah, I'll see you there. Thank you.